Hey everybody, it's Jules. Today I'm going to talk about the fear of success versus the fear of failure versus the fear of judgment. And we're going to talk about how those fears can be worked through using the three components of mindfulness: awareness or paying attention, being in the moment, and no judgment. So you can kind of see the correlation there already. If you have a fear of judgment and you're working through no judgment, that can kind of help you through that fear. So, first off, I want to start out with a story. If you saw the thumbnail, there's a picture on the thumbnail. It's actually in a drawing that I did about a year and a half ago when I was going through some really hard, difficult emotions. I had some things that happened in my life, um, sometimes referred to tower moments, and I was flooded with all the emotions of things that can feel like all trust is broken or all expectations have gone away, or basically that the rug has been pulled out from underneath you in your life. And this wasn't the first time it happened to me, but this was actually the one that sent me into a complete fear response. So, most of my life, due to some PTSD from my childhood, I have lived in fear. And my fear responses, I did not know about this until later on in my life when I was actually going through some therapy things for PTSD. I'd always heard that a fear response was either fight or flight. But during some of those groups, I realized that one that's more prominent and isn't discussed, I mean, it's been discussed in more recent years, but not back then, is a freeze response. And so when I was going through that difficult period of time, I turned to one thing that I always turn to when I'm dealing with a lot of emotions, and that was drawing. And I had read about an exercise to do a self portrait of the feelings and emotions you were going through at that point. And out of that exercise came the drawing, and I named it Miss Fear. So my journey then started into a deeper practice of mindfulness and learning about it and learning the brain responses and how all the energy goes with it. And that's when I started using techniques to move beyond my fears with using mindfulness. So let me explain a little bit more about that. The fear of success is often shown with characteristics of perfectionism, procrastination, um, or sometimes we set the bar too low so that we can at least feel that we've accomplished something. The fear of failure manifests itself particularly with worry in all aspects of things. We worry about other people, we worry about, how our money, we worry about all those things. And it really boils down to feeling like you're never going to have or you're never going to attain, or every time you put something out there, the rug gets pulled out from underneath you. Now, the third one I'm just learning about is the fear of judgment. And that boils down to a subconscious limiting belief that you're not enough. So that's either about your appearance or your demographic or your orientation and many other things. And then how I was able to bring those together was typically with the fear of success being about perfectionism and procrastination and those types of things. I could correlate it with focused attention and awareness. The second, the fear of failure, when it's always about worry, never being able to attain anything, never moving forward with it. That's where the component of mindfulness and being in the present moment took hold. Then the fear of judgment, with the subconscious belief is not feeling like you're enough. That came into play with the third component of mindfulness of no judgment. I had to start applying those three components of mindfulness to myself first. That's where mindful minutes came from. I had learned also early on that mindful meditation, while it works wonders, if you are dealing with any type of trauma or racing thoughts with memories or that type of thing, meditation sometimes will not work, because when you go to quiet your mind and you're quiet and still, that can actually trigger memories. So I wanted to take it to a place where it was strictly mindfulness. So it was the mindful minutes. It's the little distractions to stop those racing thoughts. And then another exercise that I went through when I was doing some of the coaching for my mind training for my mindfulness coaching certificate, they had an exercise that when your thoughts started coming in, you owned them by giving them a name. And the example they gave was Bob. So when a racing thought of, oh, that was stupid, you're not enough, you'd say, Bob, thank you for that thought. Now move on. And you could even visualize opening a door and sending the thought out the window. So I took it and I named him Ms. Fear. So then I had a visual with the drawing to focus on those thoughts. And interestingly enough, if you look at the short little training video I did within the last few weeks about awareness stacking, that is how I built over time my mindfulness practice, my lifestyle. And with my Miss Mindful, I'm hoping to be able to show you through things that I've done or research that's been done that mindfulness can be done even if you start practicing 2 minutes a day, several times a day. A lot of recent research is actually showing that to change habits, it's not just about, okay, I'm going to lose 20 pounds, so I'm going to go on this specific diet and I'm going to exercise 30 minutes a day. The research is really showing that the mindset is the number one factor that you need. And number two, you need to practice those in very small bites several times a day. So if you have focused attention on your eating and sit and be in the present moment and don't judge whether the food is good or bad or how you are when you're sitting down to eat that, it makes you more aware of the food. And once you become more aware of your food, then it naturally just starts trickling over to more self care or more movement for you or changing a little habit that you've wanted to try. It's all about the consistency. And if you've watched anything on YouTube, like how to build your business on YouTube or how to use social media to do that, they always talk about the consistency. It's the same thing with building your mindset. So if you go through it, the fear of success versus failure versus judgment, we actually fall into all three categories at some point. But from my perspective and for what I've been able to do and how much I've been able to change in my life, mine went to the no judgment, really working on being in the present moment and not judging myself and being self compassionate in those moments, and in doing that on a daily practice. Even if it's just for 5 minutes that I focus and give myself compassion the rest of the day, honestly, some days I'm not non judgmental on what I'm doing or what I'm having. But it has built over time and it's becoming the new pathway that my brain takes. So, hopefully, this may have helped you. Please let me know in the comments what you think. Which was your fear? What thing are you interested in, and how mindfulness might be able to help you with that? Um, Hit the subscribe button, click the bell so you'll be notified. I will be posting videos at least once a week from here forward. And let me know what you think. I was able to go from Ms. Fear to Ms. Mindful and the start of that journey within 6 months. And now I just continue it. I want you to be on this journey with me. Be part of my group, Mindful Misfits. Again, let me know in the comments. I'd really love to hear what you have to say. Have a good day or night whenever you're viewing this. Namaste. Love and light.